Little song dedicated to Fanny, sweet Fanny. Good girls, in their youthful prime, could have a simply gorgeous time, but they won't. Do they wish they could be bad, and have what they have never had? No, they don't. They endeavour to retain an attitude of quiet disdain. They have a much better time when they're naughty. So why do they try to keep good? Perhaps they are frightened what neighbours will say, so put off till tomorrow what they want to do today. At 20 or 30 or 40, there are lots of things they've never understood. The good girl gets a ring if she is named the happy day. The bad girl gets her rings and things in quite a different way. The good girl longs to love a man and hopes she will be thrilled. The bad girl's hopes are similar, but hers are all fulfilled. The good girl says, "Oh no, sir," when the man says, "Darling, do." The bad girl says the same thing, but she really means him to. The good girl's pecked by someone, and she thinks she's had a kiss. The bad girl's been to Paris and knows what good girls miss. They have a much better time when they're naughty. So why do they try to keep good? They have a much better time when they're naughty. So why do they try to keep good? Perhaps they are frightened what neighbours will say, and put off till tomorrow what they want to do today. At 20 or 30 or 40, there are lots of things they've never understood. The good girl longs to run a flat and marry and all that. The bad girl doesn't marry, but she often runs a flat. The good girl takes an omnibus and pays her penny fare. The bad girl shares a taxi, and you know what happens there. The good girl makes her underwear, and needlework she knows. The bad girl reaps the benefit. Wild oats are all she sows. The good girl wears those dresses whereby nature is denied. The bad girl wears those dresses which can hint at what they hide. The good girl has a geezer with a penny in or more. The bad girl has a marble bath and doesn't lock the door. They have a much better time when they're naughty. So why do they try to keep good? The good girl likes the light on, and she hopes she'll have some luck. The bad girl turns the light out, and she hopes the man has pluck. What's that? What?
That'll be enough, thank you.
Oh, but I know some much worse ones than that. Oh, well, if you say so, I suppose it must be. Pity, I don't see why I don't play. Here they come, here they are. Oh, they just run out and look nice, eh? No. The bride looks extreme, doesn't she? What a lovely veil and the orange blossom and everything. I'm a bachelor, and I find lovers are extremely blind, though they regain their eyesight all too soon. At first, their life seems full of fun, but their marriage ain't begun till they get back from the honeymoon. There's lots of ladies I have met I'd like to have for wife, but I know I couldn't face it if it's got to be for life. I'd like to have a honeymoon with Miss Mackenzie, a lassie that I met in Aberdeen. The way she rolls her eyes and things just gets me in a frenzy. She's one of the nicest girls I've ever seen. She's the sort of goddess to whom I'd gladly kneel. She's just as sweet as heather, and she's got the same appeal. And every time I kissed her, she would do the Highland reel, so I'd like to have a honeymoon with her. I'd like to have a honeymoon with Miss O'Reilly, born in Dublin 18 years ago. Her lips are red as roses, and her eyes are nice and smiley. She's the nicest child I've ever got to know. Immediately I met her, I just looked at her and fell. To her I couldn't tell the lies that usually I tell. She's a little bit of heaven that makes me think of mother, so I'd like to have a honeymoon with her. I'd like to have a honeymoon with Senorita, a lovely girl I saw in old Madrid. And I murmured to myself that I would dearly love to meet her, and hardly had I said it when I did. She looked so dark and slender, and she walked with noble grace. Her eyes were black and burning with the passion of her race. And she grabbed me by the collar, and she bit me in the face. So I'd like to have a honeymoon with her. I'd like to have a honeymoon with Mademoiselle Paris, the smartest girl I ever met in France. Just the kind of girl that I would like to marry, perhaps because I'll never have the chance. She causes a sensation whenever she appears. She goes so fast, she doesn't give you time to change your gears. She reminds me of the mademoiselle who came from Armentières, so I'd like to have a honeymoon with her. I'd like to have a honeymoon with dear Miss Britain, a girl guide whom I met one day in camp. I was just a Boy Scout then, but I was badly smitten, though no one could accuse her as a vamp. But she's just the kind of English girl I'd like to have as bride. We both would wear our uniforms, and wear them too with pride. I would do the scouting then, and she would be the guide. So I'd like to have a honeymoon, moo, moo. Cowes is a nice place in the Isle of Wight. Yes, that's where I'd like to have a honeymoon with her. It's very nice indeed.